were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them! Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness! You were my brother, Anakin! I loved you!
Before Darth Vader was born, there was Anakin Skywalker, the child born from the Force itself, the greatest warrior during the Clone Wars, an unbeatable pilot, the most powerful Jedi of his generation, or perhaps of any generation, the Chosen One. But while we've seen Skywalker test his might in battle against Count Dooku and General Grievous and the likes, there's one Sith that we've actually never seen him encounter: Maul. So if these two had fought, if they had encountered each other, who would have won? Well, today, that's what we're going to find out. So let's get into it. What's up, guys? I'm Daniel. This is DanCo. Thank you so much for watching the channel. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like button, the subscribe button, and turn on notifications. More videos like this one every week. Also, go follow us on TikTok. Link in the description down below, and sign off in the comments for any future videos that you would love to see. Now let's get into the fight. So Star Wars is kind of known for its iconic characters: Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Princess Leia, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Hello there.
But I'm going to argue that there are no two better villains in Star Wars than Darth Vader, Anakin, and Darth Maul. Darth Maul is a man cursed to fail. He's Sisyphus, cursed to roll a boulder up a hill for all of eternity, only that once he reaches the top, the boulder rolls back down to the bottom. Straight from Greek mythology. He's never gonna win, never gonna get what he wants, and he knows that he's in on the joke. He never truly wanted to be a Sith. It's just that every emotion inside of him fell short of his rage and of his hatred till it became where there was no other road for him to choose. Hatred became the driving force in his life. Hatred of Obi-Wan, hatred of Palpatine, hatred of Jedi, hatred of Sith, hatred of himself. And even then, because his life is a tragedy, because he is Sisyphus, he can still never succeed, never get the vengeance that he wants. He's destined to fail and fail again. On the other hand, Star Wars isn't just a bunch of individual movies, but it's one giant overarching story as well. The rise, the fall, and the redemption of Anakin Skywalker. That's the overall story that George Lucas was trying to tell here. How this man was destined to be the chosen one. How he was born into this prophecy and had this weight and these expectations placed upon him. Then how he cracked under that weight and fell from glory. How he lost his way, how he turned to the dark side, and then like the prodigal son, how he found himself again. How he made his way home, and how he redeemed himself. From Anakin Skywalker to Darth Vader. Then from Vader to Anakin again. So that actually makes the most important moment in Star Wars. It's not when Anakin becomes Darth Vader. It's not when Darth Vader tells Luke that he is his father. But it's when Vader steps in between Luke and Palpatine, fighting for his son, killing Palpatine, and becoming Anakin Skywalker again. Most important moment in the whole series. So that's one of my biggest problems with the sequel trilogy. The fact that Palpatine came back in Rise of Skywalker, the idea that Anakin didn't kill him, Palpatine was alive this whole time, well, it undercuts the entire story that George Lucas was trying to tell. That means that Anakin Skywalker wasn't the chosen one, that he wasn't the one to kill Palpatine, that he wasn't the one to bring balance to the Force, he wasn't truly any of this. It was Rey. Anakin's story, Anakin's redemption, didn't really matter, so I guess nothing matters. But then again, Oscar Isaac is pretty hot, so what can you do?
I see the Padawan needs one last lesson.
Now, starting out, it's important to remember that the Force can do so much more than just pushing and pulling things or doing cool mind tricks or stuff like that. You can actually channel the Force into yourself, use it to boost your strength, your speed, your durability, things like that. I mean, how else do you think Darth Maul survived literally being cut in half? So with that in mind, Anakin is strong enough to where he's busting through metal and beating up droids with his bare hands. He nearly broke Obi-Wan's arm in his grip during their fight, and when he went up against Count Dooku the second time, well, Anakin was able to just completely overwhelm him. Leave him so tired to the point where Count Dooku couldn't fight back. He could barely feel the room around him. Nobody else has put Dooku in that state before. Not Grievous, not Mace Windu, not even Yoda. Only Anakin. Anakin's durability is also really just shocking. I mean, he survived this, having his body cut in half, chopped in half down the middle, and then being burnt alive. And Obi-Wan just left him there, which is just cruel. Like, you kind of got to sympathize with Anakin there a little bit. Like, if somebody did that to me and then left me there and didn't kill me, didn't let me die, I might hate them just a little bit too. Just a little bit. But he's also survived the usual attacks just fine. Force pushes, punches and kicks, lightning blast, the typical stuff that you would see anytime Jedi fight Sith. It's really his speed that you gotta take note of. I mean, the kid was pod racing when he was 9 years old. His reflexes are just insane. No other human would have been able to do that. Anakin is doing it when he's 9. And that didn't just make him an amazing pilot, maybe the best pilot ever. No, it also applies directly into the fights. Like again, back to Count Dooku. Anakin was able to overwhelm him with his speed. Leave it where Dooku was actually seeing the whole room through almost a blue haze. It was like Anakin's lightsaber was everywhere. And then there's Darth Maul. And as for impressive as Anakin is, I think Maul's got him beat here. I mean, dude, just look at this. Overpowering Raftars. The same things that were wrecking havoc in Force Awakens. Chased Finn and Rey around, killed the guys from the raid. I don't even know how Han and Chewie were able to catch these things in the first place. Yet here is Darth Maul physically overpowering one. He's fought hand-to-hand against Savage Opress, like the strongest guy in the Clone Wars. A guy who's already overpowered Anakin. He's just physically toyed Obi-Wan Kenobi more times than you can count. Maul even overpowered General Grievous. So Jedi are insanely fast. Like, you might not have noticed it, but you've actually already seen them move at superhuman speeds before. See that? Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are just a blur. Way faster than any human ever. And yet Maul is still able to fight 2-on-1 against both of them and hold his own. And really be winning the fight. And that's not the only time he's done this either. He's also moved faster than Mace Windu, and he was faster than Ahsoka too. Dude is just straight up fast. But probably the most impressive thing for Maul is just how tough he is. I mean, the guy literally got cut in half his body missing, and didn't die. Was carried on living through just his hate, just his aggression. He survived explosions, laughed off attacks. Maul is just a bundle of rage and aggression and hatred, and is really allowed to almost become indifferent to pain. He's even survived Sidious's lightning, the same thing that took out Mace Windu and Darth Vader. Which, I mean, I guess it doesn't even matter if Vader survives Palpatine's lightning or not. I mean, everything in the original trilogy was building up to this one moment. Vader's redemption, and the death of the Emperor, and that was where the story was supposed to end. That was it. Anakin has been redeemed, the Emperor is dead, the Empire has lost its 2 most important leaders and its super weapon, and the galaxy is entering a new era of peace. But no, can't have that, gotta bring back the Emperor, because that makes sense. But also Oscar Isaac. His eyes, his smile. Now, you want to win a fight in Star Wars, well, you gotta be pretty handy with a lightsaber. And these two, they're some of the best. In order to demonstrate that to y'all, I'd like to introduce you to Nick Gellard, the Swords Master, the stunt coordinator for the Star Wars prequels. Him and George Lucas mapped out a whole tier system for the fighters, going from 1 to 9. And it works at the Richter scale, where even though it is just a 1 number difference, the actual difference between 7 and 8, 8 and 9 is just enormous. A lot of the great fighters like Kit Fisto, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Phantom Menace, guys like that, they come in at a 7. Count Dooku, Mace Windu, Obi-Wan Kenobi during the Clone Wars, Revenge of the Sith, and even Darth Maul, they're all at an 8. 9 is about as good as you can get. The best of the best, the elite of the elite, and there are really only 3 characters in this tier. Yoda, Emperor Palpatine, yeah, you guessed it, Anakin Skywalker. Now, just because Anakin is a 9 and Maul is an 8 on this tier list does not mean that Anakin will instantly win the fight. I mean, Obi-Wan Kenobi, an 8, beat Anakin. Obi-Wan Kenobi beat Maul when Kenobi was just a 7. It's not infallible. There is a ton at play in every single lightsaber fight, like the circumstances, the emotion, the force itself, but it does give you a nice frame of reference for starting out. So yeah, all this isn't to say that Darth Maul isn't an insanely good fighter. He's a master of 2 different lightsaber fighting styles. Neiman, Form 6, and Juyo, Form 7. And these 2 styles are super different, balance each other out very well. Neiman focuses a lot more on the use of the Force over a lightsaber, making it one of the least physical of all the styles. Juyo is pretty much the exact opposite. It's the most aggressive and unpredictable form out there. Maul actually has to amp himself with the Force whenever he fights, or not tire himself out, because he's all about just unleashing a lethal combo of rapid strikes and powerful blows. Pretty much just fighting with controlled rage and fury. And it's worked out really well for him. He's shown that he's a better fighter than Qui-Gon Jinn, one of the best duelists the Jedi had. He's a better fighter than Obi-Wan Kenobi here too. He's able to fight against both of them at once, kill Qui-Gon, and he had Obi-Wan beat too. It was really only a surprise sneak attack and Maul's own cockiness that beat him here. And really, you don't just gotta take my word for that. Maul has proven that to be true ever since he's come back. Darth Maul and Obi-Wan have actually squared off several times. For the most part, Maul's come out on top. Obi-Wan can try and fight against Maul by himself with other Jedi, even team up with other Sith like Asajj Ventress. Darth Maul is usually always still gonna be the winner. Of course, Obi-Wan did win the only fight that ended up truly mattering, but still, Maul definitely showed that he is an amazing, exceptional duelist. And it's not like Obi-Wan Kenobi is the only guy Darth Maul has ever fought and beaten. He's fought against General Grievous, beat him, fought against Mace Windu, and I guess won that one too, almost more like on a technicality though. Sidious actually considered Maul to be a better fighter than Dooku. He's fought against the Grand Inquisitor and the other Inquisitors, who are these former Jedi that turned to the dark side and were trained by Vader. He's fought against Ahsoka several times, both in Clone Wars and in Rebels. And even though Maul has never technically fought against Anakin or Vader, that's the whole point behind this video, they've never fought, so we're taking a look to see who'd win in a fight. Dave Filoni is basically like George Lucas light. Said the fight between Maul and Vader will be insanely close. Almost too close to call, it's so hard to say, he said. So that's most everyone who Darth Maul's fought against. Except for one. Darth Sidious. Emperor Palpatine. Yeah, that's right, Maul's already fought against one of the 3 level 9 fighters, and he lived to tell about it. And he actually did alright. I mean, still lost, was still begging for his life at the end. But just the fact that Maul was able to hold a fight at all is actually insanely impressive. Especially since this is what Palpatine usually does to the Jedi Council. But at the end of the day, Darth Maul is an 8, Anakin is a 9. Again, not the be-all, end-all, but it's kind of clear Anakin is the better lightsaber fighter. I mean, just at the age of 12, Anakin was able to beat a training droid version of Darth Maul. Granted, it was just a training droid, but it had the skill of Maul. Anakin was 12, and it was a good enough showing to impress the Emperor. Maul's former master. He's fought against Count Dooku plenty of times throughout the Clone Wars. And really through stuff like that, and also just generally overall, we can see how much better Anakin got as a fighter. I mean, going from this to this, that's a clear upgrade. But I think it's really when Anakin began to succumb to the dark side, give in to his emotions. This moment particularly right here, where he became the ultimate warrior, an unstoppable force, and he knows it. He knows that he is dang near unbeatable. He's a better fighter than anybody in the Jedi Temple. Nobody is a match for him. He's surpassed Obi-Wan in skill and ability. I really think the only Jedi who can go up against Anakin directly, go blow for blow, strike for strike, would be Yoda. Like this right here, this is prime Anakin Skywalker. This is Anakin at his most powerful. But wait, how can you say that? Obi-Wan beat Anakin. Doesn't that mean he's a better fighter? That's right. Voice of public opinion. Obi-Wan did beat Anakin. And Darth Maul beat Obi-Wan quite a bit. So shouldn't that make things a bit trickier? Maybe. At the same time, no, not really. Because remember, there are a lot of things at play in every fight in Star Wars beyond just lightsaber skill. I mean, just one of them is the Force. It's always at work. It's always there. It's always at play. And it's always seeking balance. So sometimes it'll predetermine fights or manipulate fights in order to seek and get that balance. But specifically for Anakin and Obi-Wan, they just knew each other too well. They're basically two parts of the same whole. They knew everything the other one was going to do. They knew exactly how to counter it. And they knew how to counter the counter. That kind of fight is going to drag on a long time. Anakin also clearly wasn't in the best headspace. Had a lot of stuff he was working through at the moment. Well, Obi-Wan was able to focus in a lot more on the fight at hand. And Anakin just got cocky, leading to attempting a jump and a move that he probably shouldn't have. So yeah, a lot more at play than just skill, but when it comes to skill, Anakin takes it. Of course, not skill enough to beat Palpatine, I guess. No, that's gotta go to Rey Skywalker, not Anakin Skywalker. But also, Oscar Isaac. I just want him to give me his jacket, hold me in his arms, tell me things can be okay. Now, physicals are nice. Being good with a lightsaber is always a plus. But you really want to win the fight. Maul, Anakin, y'all really want to win? You gotta take this one. You gotta be better and more powerful in the Force. And for whatever's been said about him in the past, saying that he didn't finish his training, saying that he was trained as more of a Sith assassin than a Sith Lord, saying that he doesn't have a strong connection to the Force, you can just throw all of that out. None of that is true about Darth Maul. Darth Maul was hand-picked by Sidious to be his apprentice for a reason. Because Maul has a great connection to the Force. He's got serious potential. And really, he should have been more than what he turned out to be. Maul knows that. Sidious has said as much. Like losing Dooku, that was part of the plan. Dooku was just a catalyst to turn Anakin to the dark side. He was never going to be a long-term option as an apprentice. But Darth Maul? Well, Palpatine himself said that one was a true loss. That one shouldn't have happened. That one hurt the Sith Order. And then when he came back, well, Anakin, Obi-Wan, Yoda, Dooku, pretty much everyone of significance in the Force noticed it. They realized the sinister threat that was coming their way, even feared it, was scared of it. Then while Palpatine wasn't necessarily scared, he definitely realized that a threat was emerging. Maul was gonna be a challenge. He was a rival. So yeah, to say that Darth Maul isn't powerful in the Force, you're just wrong there. You're just off. And in a fight, well, Darth Maul has toyed with, ragdoll around, just overpowered Obi-Wan. Done it actually quite a bit. And it's not like Obi-Wan is weak in the Force. He's a Jedi Master. And that's not all. So Darth Vader has an awesome hallway scene. Well, Darth Maul might just have him beat. Like, look at this. It's just sick. It's mind-blowing what Maul is doing here. And with no lightsaber, all with the Force. Just complete mastery over the dark side of the Force. And you want to talk about true master of the dark side? Let's talk about surviving being literally cut in half. Just chopped right through the middle. And surviving solely because of the Force. That's easily some Darth Vader level stuff right there. Easily. Funny thing is though, being at Darth Vader level doesn't necessarily mean that you're Anakin Skywalker level. Anakin Skywalker is more powerful than Darth Vader. Anakin lost a considerable amount of power when he entered into that cybernetic suit. I mean, George Lucas even said as much. He said, and I quote, Anakin, as Skywalker, as a human being, was going to be extremely powerful. But he ended up losing his legs and an arm, became partly a robot. So a lot of his ability to use the Force, a lot of his powers are curbed at this point. Because as a living form, there's not that much of him left. So his ability to be twice as good as the Emperor disappeared. Now he's maybe 20% less than him. Yeah, Anakin as a cyborg, as Vader, was never as powerful as he was as a human. On the other hand, Anakin, and especially Anakin on Mustafar, absolute height of his powers. And just that idea, the height of his powers, when it comes to Anakin, that's actually really scary to think about. I mean, he's the chosen one. He was straight up born from the Force. He's got literally unprecedented power. He's the most powerful Jedi of his generation, perhaps of any generation. And when he turned to the dark side, became even more powerful, to the point where just his raw ability is pretty much unrivaled, literally unlimited. And you want to talk about real power? You want an example of what Anakin can do? Well, in Star Wars, there's a planet called Mortis. Well, less of a planet, more almost this ethereal realm, outside of any star system, possibly outside of the universe itself. This is where a lot of people believe that the Force first originated. And in this realm, there are only 3 living things. 3 beings of pretty much pure Force energy that are locked in a constant struggle for dominance. The Sun, who represents destruction and death, and is the dark side of the Force. The Daughter, who represents peace and construction, and is the light side of the Force. Then the Father, who maintains balance between the two. And Anakin found himself on the planet one day, along with Obi-Wan and Ahsoka. And in what might be the greatest showing of the Force in all of Star Wars, he amped himself with the power of the planet itself and dominated the Father's children. 2 beings of literally pure Force power. Anakin did that. He did that. So when it comes to Force power, Force potential, it's not even close. It's Anakin Skywalker all the way. He is the chosen one. Darth Maul is closer to more like Darth Vader. But that doesn't really matter, because it's not fighting Vader, he's fighting Anakin. But it! I guess nothing that Darth Vader ever did really matters. No, he's the main character in Star Wars. Not like his hero's journey matters. No, let's just let the sequel trilogy completely undercut every thing that Darth Vader ever did. But it also gives us Oscar Isaac. Why am I so attracted to him? I'm straight.
You underestimate my power.
So we've gone through physicals, gone through lightsaber fighting, gone through Force powers. Wrap it all up. Who's coming out on top here? Well, I think it's gotta be Anakin Skywalker. He's the chosen one. Arguably the greatest Jedi to have ever lived. Got literally unrivaled Force potential. One of the best lightsaber fighters we've ever seen. When he turned to the dark side, well, he became even more powerful. I want to give Darth Maul all the props I can. I think he'd beat Count Dooku. I think he'd beat General Grievous. I think he could potentially beat Darth Vader too. I mean, he fought against Emperor Palpatine. But Anakin is a whole other animal altogether. He's a whole different beast. And he should come out on top here. Anakin Skywalker wins. Anakin's story of redemption, Oscar Isaac.